Whether you're into blasting fools in Black Ops 6, surviving the post-apocalyptic world of Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, or still heartbroken about X-Defiant closing. I love to play X-Defiant, that one hurt. 2025 will offer something for every type of FPS fan. What's good, PC gamers? I'm Midas, and 2025 is shaping up to be one hell of a year for first-person shooter fans, with the sheer depth and range of what's coming having something for everyone to get excited about. Here at PC Gamer, we've picked 11 up-and-coming FPS titles our trigger fingers are itching to play in 2025. Let's start it off old school, right, with mighty Doom. No matter what type of shooter fan you are, there's a Doom game you'll love, and there's a chance that each new entry will do something truly new. I love the dramatic set pieces and the movie-esque spectacle of modern Doom games, and it feels like Doom the Dark Ages is going to deliver a sensational viscera in spades. Expect every dial in Doom the Dark Ages to be turned up to 11, building on the success of Doom Eternal, but also taking some wild swings. Doom 2016's reboot set the stakes here, an arena shooter with no time for yapping and all of the time in the world for brutal glory kills on the denizens of hell as you wage a one-man war on the forces of chaos. Doom Eternal made things bigger and more ridiculous, Bethesda getting me even more hyped during the Xbox developer preview, showcasing more action, new difficulty modifiers, and a 30-story Atlan mech, which is the size of a building, as well as see you ride a dragon. Doom the Dark Ages is a prequel that's going to have you getting medieval on everyone's asses. Killing Floor is back and we cannot wait. Killing Floor was one of Steam's early success stories, growing from an Unreal Tournament mod to a full-fledged series. And for the third installment, Tripwire Interactive is leaning hard on its core pillars of smooth gunplay, satisfying progression, and buckets of gore. Expect things to get messy with this one. In our The Making of Killing Floor 3 PC gaming show documentary, we got a deep dive into how old school science movies like Predator, Aliens, and Total Recall has inspired the new title, which can be seen with its weapons and lush blood splatter as you shred Zeds. The Zeds you face in Killing Floor 3 have been augmented as the series jumps from body horror to science fiction. But the best way to make sure you aren't killed by a hulking monster with guns for arms is to blow those arms off at the elbow. The English countryside might not seem like an obvious setting for an intense FPS experience, but in our next game, Rebellion, the studio best known for the Sniper Elite series, is mixing up the green and pleasant land with an unhealthy dose of apocalyptic gameplay and quarantine zones. I can't handle any more quarantine. Stalker 2, but set in an alternative history of 1960s England. This is the promise at the heart of Atomfall, and it will provide a quintessential version of a British apocalypse. In a 7-minute gameplay trailer released on Rebellion's YouTube channel, Atomfall's Alt History UK goes deeper than you just finding a Cornish pasty and visiting a pub, and the game draws inspiration from the UK's own real-life nuclear incident, the 1957 Windscale disaster. The UK government of the time heavily censored the event, and Atomfall uses this to inform its own tale. What else were they covering up? This co-op FPS puts you in the shoes of a paranormal SWAT team, doing battle with creepy control-esque anomalies while nuclear war rages. Expect missions to have you infiltrate in the site of anomalies while invading the warring groups, and then taking care of business like a paramilitary arm of the Ghostbusters.
Hey, anybody see a ghost?
Gameplay also shows us Husk, artificial bodies that you can switch between at any time. Pair this up with oodles of loot to sift through, and this could be a great co-op game for people who want a few scares but feeling a little helpless by something like Lethal Company. It's time to grab your sand bucket and spade as we climb our giant mech, which would make Howl's Moving Castle proud in this up-and-coming extraction shooter. Anakin Skywalker might hate sand, but Holograph's PvPvE Stand 'em Up just had a beta and people seem to be pretty hyped about it. Sand is an extraction shooter where you head out to the dusty wastelands of the planet Sophie to complete contracts. Escape from Tarkov this is not. However, Sand is all about your trampler, a giant mech that stomps across the sand as you try to tame the vicious world and other players inhabiting it. You and your friends will man the trampler like a Sea of Thieves vessel, although with what appears to be a whole lot more shooting. Weapons here look tactical in gameplay footage, while gunfights are filled with hulking turrets, showers of sparks, and a friend running around with a spanner trying to keep the trampler from exploding. Expect a taste of rust on each mission as players attempt to infiltrate your mech and kill the crewmates within. The huge big budget shooter of 2025 will as usual be Call of Duty. The big question here is what type of Call of Duty game will we get? Until 2023's Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty was in good form, but the Rush sequel's tepid reception was enough to shake confidence in the franchise. Last year's Black Ops 6 was well received, and while everyone wasn't enamored with the campaign, the multiplayer offered up fun blasting and a ridiculous amount of progression. And I'm really enjoying that Squid Games 2 mode. While it's not going to reinvent the wheel, 2025's Call of Duty is a bit of a mystery. The usual cycle of COD studios would suggest that it's Infinity Ward's turn at the helm again. Its last game, Modern Warfare 2, was great, but the studio's many unpopular changes to Warzone, many of which have been reversed over time, will have some fans skeptical. Probably my most anticipated on this list is Ken Levine's first new game since the brilliantly atmospheric BioShock games. Set on a disintegrated spaceship, Judas is channeling those BioShock vibes, but in a brand new setting. What's exciting about this is that Ken Levine is exceptional at building worlds. Underwater dystopia of BioShock or SWAT 4's serial killer house are classics in terms of level design. And if Judas can deliver, why wouldn't you want to be lost in space? Judas hews close to BioShock in gameplay too, and it looks like you'll have a range of weapons in addition to a few innate powers you can use to splatter your enemies and solve puzzles. Borderlands is incredibly popular, a co-op shooter with reams of weird weapons and an action RPG sensibilities that have you sifting for loot. We don't know much about how Borderlands 4 will play yet, but we do know the sequel is heading to a new planet called Kairos. We also get 4 new Vault Hunters, as is Borderlands tradition, and this time Gearbox is putting a special emphasis on new movement abilities. Borderlands 4 is Gearbox's first project since it was sold off by the Embracer Group to Take-Two Interactive, the studio's longtime publisher partner, and also the first since the Borderlands movie. The original game was somewhat faddy, but built on the promise of 17,750 different weapons and a deep vein of toilet humor. It slowly matured, and talent writing for now includes indie developer and former PC gamer columnist Xavier Nelson, dropouts Ify Wadaway, and even Miles Luna of Rooster Teeth. Another colossal budget FPS we know that's coming but know next to nothing about is the next Battlefield game. Though there are 2 facts: it's going to be set in the modern day and the FPS visionary Vince Zampella is in the top chair to try to deliver a return to form for the series. This one is aiming for 2025 and fans are clamoring for it too. Despite a flat reaction and super buggy launch, Battlefield 2042 is one of the best selling games of 2024 on Steam last year. However, the plan is for continued playtesting, so someone will get to play the next Battlefield this year, even if it's not the general public. The as yet untitled Battlefield 6 will likely be a back to basics affair, with class-based multiplayer and high-tempo combined arms warfare, looking to capture an audience that's been tempted away by free-to-play efforts like Delta Force. I'm confident that whether Battlefield 6 is a solid gold or a flawed gem, it's going to be one of the biggest multiplayer shooters of the year. Our next game, Unrecord, has a unique perspective and visual treatment that makes it look like body cam footage. Paired with realistic gunplay, this one is sure to get your hair standing on end. Unrecord is a single-player FPS where you play as a police officer and the view of action from a nausea-inducing angle of his body camera. It's a strong aesthetic choice that should make the game feel different from the glut of cop shooters.
Shots fired!
It will play a little different too. Footage of the game in action makes it look tense and slow paced, and the developers' drama are saying that players will need to be quick with the trigger and their brain to get to the bottom of things. Screenshots have our character picking their way through dilapidated buildings armed with a Glock and a flashlight, so I'm hoping the pace is going to feel distinct from other games coming out this year. Splitgate's sell was Halo with portals, intense arena combat that armed every player with a portal gun and set them loose for high-speed murder. The game everyone was playing over a blissful summer in 2021. During the breakout season, it was easy to get a match, and what incredible matches they were. Then the game vanished without a trace, played by only a fraction of the summer crowd at any time in the years that followed. Splitgate was a great proof of concept, but while Splitgate was made by 15 developers on a shoestring budget, 1047 has scaled up to nearly 100 devs for Splitgate 2, expanding its arena shooter with class-based multiplayer and revamped 3-lane map design. Splitgate 2 should feel distinct and offer a different vibe to the first game, but as long as the sequel allows me to, again, use portals to snipe from the relative safety of my own spawn, I'll be there day one. Atomfall, Killing Floor 3. There are so many different first-person shooter games coming in 2025. What FPS games are you most excited for this year? What are you currently playing, and did I miss the FPS that you're most wanting and patiently waiting for? Let us know in the comments. Last time I asked you about your favorite Christmas themed levels for the Underground wrote, well, time to download Witcher 3 and Miles Morales on my Steam Deck again. Fantastic vid. That elephant section in It Takes Two is going to ruin someone's Christmas. No! The elephant in It Takes Two was heartbreaking. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to PC Gamer for more FPS glory.